Good day, everybody, and happy Thanksgiving to you. Today we have a producer in the AAA video game industry, and this one felt pretty good. If you want to jump to the interview, you can go to minute 29, around there. Let's see. This is last-minute recording, but we got it out in time, so it's hot and fresh for you. Sorry about the Skype video. It's jumping around. We're still trying to figure out how to have these remote conversations for you, but we're gonna get it. So you just enjoy yourself and be thankful for bravely mistaken. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Guys, hold on a second.
There's a difference in the mentality of country people and city people.
Okay, hold on. Christian women came into his room and they were freaking out about all the witchcraft stuff.
I used formulaic magic.
Doc, we don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, my anniversary's coming up. I want to make it really special.
In other words, how can a man save some money on Viagra? Some say the video game industry has Hollywood shaking in its boots, but just how big is it and how much power does it wield over our lives? Find out today on the Bravely Mistaken podcast. Alrighty, everybody, once again, it is the Bravely Mistaken podcast. Welcome to the show. This is Jordan O'Leary. And I'm just going to jump right into it with the boys here. We got all the boys here. Three amigos. How you doing, boys?
What's up, bud? How you doing?
I'm swell.
God. We have a very yeah, exactly.
Already off.
Shooting off into...
Also, it's all about LeBron. It's all about LeBron, 15-2,
All right.
Lakers.
All right.
Lakers.
That's right. That's what this episode's all
That's
about.
what this episode's all about, isn't it?
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I want to wish everyone happy Thanksgiving. And what better occasion on Thanksgiving Day than to have all of my friends with me on this day. Well, on the day we're recording anyway. We have two co-hosts here with us, but actually one will actually be the guest tonight. Tonight is a lovely conversation I hope to be having with Angel Orlando here. Angel Orlando, thank you for coming on the show. Yeah,
Hey,
well,
good to
I
see
mean,
you again, bud.
happy
Happy
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Actually, and of course, sorry everyone, Lewis Hamilton as my co-host tonight to
Present.
grill, present with the vaporizer in the hand. I like it. We're not afraid to push boundaries here on Bravely Mistaken. Everyone involved makes brave mistakes here.
I think it's okay. I've seen women just doing weed on YouTube. I don't think YouTube, as long as you check, you just have to check off the children can watch thing and you're fine, I think.
Yeah, I think you classify as a woman doing weed, though.
No way, man. Look at this beard.
Yeah.
It's nothing,
Well,
it's nothing feminine about that.
Tonight,
Brave new
I'm
world,
feeling
my
a
friend.
lot
Brave new
more
world.
kind of manliness coming out of Lou tonight as we're doing this. I was just saying, hey, man, are we going to be okay for this episode? And I have to say, I don't necessarily dislike it, Lou. I have to say.
A fun fact is that when I'm on weed, I usually do get more randy.
Okay. You ain't going to be rubbing chow, are you?
No, I'm not going to be doing that. My hands are
Well-
right here. I'm good.
You understand what Randy means, right? Don't you?
I definitely do. I do understand what it means.
Okay.
I'm not going to get randy with you guys. I'm just saying in general, that's what I found when I use it. That I do get
phone
more randy.
off. Everyone phones off. Phones off, everyone. Seriously.
No, I'm also not going to be watching porn on a phone. I'm not doing that either. Not
All right,
right now. I mean, I do
All
that,
right.
but I'm not going to do it right now.
Okay. Well, good. Everyone, he does do that, but he won't be doing it right now. Angel, welcome to the show. Thank you very much. We're going to be talking to you about being a AAA video game producer and all of the fun that entails. But, usually we have a little wrap for the show. We're going to just talk about a bunch of bullshit here, before we start with the actual interview. God knows how many people actually like to listen to this stuff. But I don't care because I enjoy it. And I actually have some stuff to show you guys today, before we get into the interview. And hopefully I was kind enough in the beginning of the show to tell you where the interview starts with the time signature. But again, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We made it to show number 4. I'm pretty excited. This is the first kind of show that we have coming out that's more timely and more current. So anyway, welcome. The launch went okay and everything looks good. And I'm still in Mexico for Thanksgiving. I'm not going to be coming home for Thanksgiving this year. But I'll be coming for Christmas, so it's okay. What are you guys doing for Thanksgiving? Without boring everyone too much.
I'm just going to go over to a friend's.
Yeah.
I'm doing the whole Friendsgiving thing.
I like that.
Yeah, no, it's nice. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just chill, I'm going to take the Munchkin with me, so that'll be interesting. Are they going to do something in Mexico, like, for Thanksgiving? I would assume there's so many expats down there that usually it's a thing, right?
They're gonna sell turkey at Soriana, at the grocery store.
What I figured.
Which is fine with me,
That's good.
There's no ovens here in Mexico, so it's like I can't really cook a turkey.
I mean, you could deep fry the fuck out of it, man.
Well, I got to find some kind of metal tin in Mexico to do that. Unless I guess I could. My roommate
find one of those old abandoned cars.
I flip it over and make a little bowl. I could put some oil in. My friend actually, my friend, roommate, and landlord. She makes churros, and she's got a big cauldron.
There you go.
That she makes. Yeah, but no, screw it. I don't know. Honestly, what I wanted to do this year, I wanted to make a goose.
A goose?
I wanted to cook a goose. Yeah. I had a goose for Christmas in Europe. The first Christmas I spent in Europe. First Christmas I really spent away. My second one, I should say, did one in Bali. And man, the goose is so juicy. And the skin is so crispy. And the fat, there's so much fat, and it's just awesome. And I'm going to say, I have to be honest, man. I don't think people really like turkey that much.
It's just traditional.
Exactly.
I don't, you know what? I fucking hate ham. I've never liked it. I never understood why people ate that shit.
I like ham's good. Ham and turkey's good when you put the gravy on it.
I like ham. I don't know
is good too.
Ham. I'm sorry, guys. I can't get behind it.
A good ham sandwich.
Good ham with some mustard. I could eat just a ham steak. I'm down with that.
What about a turducken?
Never had it.
Stuffing instead of stuffing. You know what, man? I always.
Do you guys like a binge, like gorge yourself on Thanksgiving, like most Americans do?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe less now, but like I try to make now the plate that I get. I try to make it the best, like exactly what I want, rather than just piling a ton of shit on. So I err on the side of less on the plate, so that I'm like, oh yeah, and kind of eat the whole thing. And then I'll get more instead of like piling it on and then not even finishing the first plate. That's kind of embarrassing.
This is my first vegetarian fucking Thanksgiving. I just realized that.
Tell me more, Angel.
So fascinating, I know. Fucking riveting.
Yeah, what are you going to do about that? You're just going to eat yams?
Stuffing, mashed potatoes.
Oh, that's all
yams.
juice. That's all chicken juice in the stuffing.
Is it cheese?
No,
is it like cheese vegetarian or
right.
not even cheese?
No, cheese.
Lou, your mic is hot. Your mic's hot, bud.
How about now? Is it better if I stay a little further from the mic?
Yeah, you got to stay further from the mic, man. Cheese.
Matter of fact, just keep going.
This is my mic. This is my mic right now. I'll use this as my mic.
Dude, Lou's all G'd up tonight, man.
I know.
You're like scaring me. You're reminding me of like an alpha male goat. I was.
It's only in comparison. I'm not that aggressive. It's just in comparison to my normal super not aggressive. That me being below average aggressive seems aggressive.
Push your mic away like this.
Did the fucking Lakers win?
Push your mic away like this. Real quick.
They're 15-2. Yeah, they're 15-2. They've won like.
I know. Was there a game on tonight?
Push your mic away like this. Go like that.
Yeah,
just push it away.
even further.
I'm just telling you what to do with it. Perfect.
How's that? Yeah, they won yesterday. They're 15-2.
So that explains it. That explains it.
Oh,
It's
he's
all about
jacked up.
Rose.
He's jacked up.
Yeah.
He's smoking his whatever's in there, and he's jacked about LeBron.
I'm just
He's
jacked up.
smoking the
I'm just
LeBron.
all jacked up because I drank a lot of Mountain Dew. It's more that I'm all hopped up on the Mountain Dew.
Did you have a nap? Did you get your nap?
I actually didn't get my nap in. Maybe that's why I'm grouchy.
Oh, I hear Netsy's great. You are a little grouchy, dude. You're like the wait, what episode was that? I don't think we aired it. You were like all
With Doc
with
Savage,
Doc. Yeah, you were all aggroed with Doc. Yeah.
No, I just sat there. I was just like a dead on that episode. I wasn't angry, or I was just not alive. I was just like, you said somebody thought my camera was frozen.
Yeah. Well, no, I think before you were like, oh, yeah, what? Agraloo.
I can get much more aggro than this. This is like low levels. I'm not trying to get aggro.
Wow.
But I could.
You remind me of an alpha male goat. I was doing a retreat deep in the Baja Peninsula, and I was in these sheep. These sheep would pass by all the time, just big, what do you call, flocks of sheep. And at the end, one day I'm sitting there, and this fucking giant, I looked like a goat or something, but it looked so different, and it was just like it was like this. I was like, oh my God. And its balls were literally, they were like the size of, what would you say? Like medium watermelons. Like they were the size of like really big, like Mexican papayas, you know?
And you're saying that's the energy I'm putting out right now?
No, yeah. So check it out. Yeah. I swear to God, I was so intimidated because they would walk right in front because I would just be completely still sitting in my chair, you know? And this guy, this bull was like, right? And I was like, Jesus, what the fuck is that thing gonna do? You know? And it had a bunch of the women around it, and it went up to, and one of the women sheep started taking a piss, and it put its nose up to the piss that was coming down. It went, and when it pissed and when it smelled it, it went like this. And for everyone who's not watching the video, I'm making the kind of this like, oh God, how would you describe that face? How would you describe that face? Anyway, it's just like, like he's like,
you're saying, and you're saying that's the energy I'm putting out.
And I was looking at this thing like it was a spawn of Satan. Like it was just like, this is why people are afraid of like goats, like of like male goats and things like. And I didn't know that's how it worked. Like, I think the alpha male goes through like a physical bodily change, and it really made me feel very intimidated.
That's good. I need to do more weed then, because that's my problem with the ladies. I don't put out that alpha energy. So if I'm putting it out, I need to mark that on my, like, do this more.
That's what I'm telling you.
This me is more likely to get laid than the me that's really nice.
Totally.
Like, fuck that guy.
100%. No, 100%.
Fuck that guy. Fuck
exactly.
That guy.
That's what I'm telling you. Wait, what? Fuck, what
I
guy?
would have just said ruffle your feathers, but that's
the super nice me that women don't appreciate. They don't
that's
appreciate
what I'm
super
saying.
nice guys.
That's what I'm saying, but you also don't have to be
nice
a dick,
is fine.
But
no, women appreciate nice guys. They don't appreciate super nice guys. So don't be a super nice guy. That's not hard to do.
Wow. Okay. Thanks. Yeah. You've seen the light. I'm glad.
I've seen the light.
So anyway,
go to a bar directly after a Lakers win, and I think you'll have success.
Yeah, that might be the magic sauce.
You mean if I'm wearing this Braun jersey and the Lakers just won, I can feed off that Braun energy. Like Braun can help me get laid.
Yeah,
in a way,
or into a fist fight. But either way, it'll be an interesting night.
why would I get in a fist fight at a Laker bar? It'd be like all Laker, mostly
because
Laker
you're
fans.
all aggro, man, and you making people go like, whoa.
But I think the audience should know that you have a super aggro trigger that is like beyond reality with me, because I don't think other people think I'm aggro. It's just you.
Now tonight, man. Now you're like ready for my shit, and you're ready to like defend yourself. That's what's going on.
If you call that aggro, then I'm aggro. Yeah, but I don't call that. I call aggro if I'm getting up in your face and I'm like pounding. That's aggro. Like I'm not doing that. I'm not like threatening to cause bodily harm. Am I? That's aggro to me.
No, but you could just see you've got that like that like
energy.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to do anything
Don't
about
put
it.
it
Like,
on me, dude. I see it. I'm not a moron, You've got.
Are you saying you want to go? Do you want to do some underground fighting and see who would bet more on us? Like who would win, me or you? Let's toss that around. Think about it.
Booty, buddy. Buddy, I mean, hey, if you're really like you want to like explore this area, we can do that,
Not really. I like talking about it, but I don't
There
really.
he goes.
I'm a peaceful guy. I don't really want to.
All right,
anybody.
I feel a lot better now, Angel. I feel less intimidated now. Okay, so hey, by the way, Lou, what are you doing? Right, what are you doing for Thanksgiving?
Well, you don't give a shit what I'm doing. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm going to some.
I kind of do.
I'm going to some in-laws of in-laws.
Uh-huh. See, do you know what he's doing? He's been listening to Tom Likas, and it's starting to work, man.
Oh no.
Yeah. He's like, hey, hey, Tom, how you doing? Do you care, Michael? That's what he's doing.
But not with the ladies though. Like you can ask any of the ladies I've dated. I'm always very nice.
You got to do a slice of this with the ladies, man. You got to put a little slice of this.
I'm just saying, like, there's no like you could ask any lady I've dated, and they'll say that I was a nice guy, which is probably a bad thing. There should be a few ladies that'd be like, that guy was an asshole. Then it'll be better. You're saying?
No,
that's not how I roll. Though I'm a nice guy. I'm always going to be a nice guy. So I'm not gonna. I can just be a little less nice. That's the best I can do.
No. It's just I think when people start being manly, it sometimes it's overcompensated. That's all. So it's really is like it's a balancing act. It really is. But
I'm not. It's all in your head though. I'm not being manly. This is all in your head.
Is that right?
I mean, it's good. Maybe but I'm saying you're exaggerating it in your head, which is fine. Well, you can do that if you want to.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
So in your mind, I'm like one or two like shoves away from just decking somebody, and that's what you think I am.
No, that's not.
I think we're about 30 minutes from a burger run. So
yeah, right. Oh yeah.
I'm gonna be like, Mom. Am I gonna scream at my mom? Damn it, Mom! I'm doing something now. Don't talk. I'll get that burger in a while. And be like that.
Oh, I can't wait to see you do that. Yeah.
I don't do that. I don't
I'll give
raise
you
my
3 to
voice
1
to my
on
mom.
that, Angel.
I never yell at my mom. I'm always nice to my mom.
Yeah. Well, okay, so we're all doing something for Thanksgiving. I'm having who gives a fuck? I mean, you're right. Who cares? I'm having a friend.
I care.
Okay, Lou. All right, Lou. Okay, Lou. Or like you. So let's move on here.
No,
okay.
I did.
Holy
I do want to hear what you're doing for Thanksgiving, though.
Yeah, I don't want to say it. It's not about
if you
what
don't,
you're.
Okay, that's fine. We'll move on then. But I did want to hear.
Lou.
I just want you to know that.
Well, okay, Lou, we'll keep it on you for a second here. You got a podcast coming. I've been barking at you all day, all night, all fucking week, all year to get your shit together to put a podcast together. Which I mean, you put some out, but it's random. I'm rooting for you. Random ass show. I'm rooting for you. I want you to do this. So you've got some ideas for. You got very excited recently about putting out podcast shows. So what are your ideas? Tell us your ideas for podcast show without pontificating too much on everyone.
Okay. Well, one I'm actually doing. I'm give it a try. It's called it, and I can name the show whatever I want. So I don't care what people say. The show is called Skeleton Crew Stickers Bam Bam. That's what the show is called. Because I want the audience to understand 3 things. 1, Skeleton Crew stickers are cool. 2, I get high a lot. 3, I like saying bam.
Okay, so what are the skeleton stickers?
They're like in your Facebook. If you do your Facebook Messenger, you click stickers and like you go to add on the far right. And you look at all of them. Look under Skeleton Crew, and they're awesome. They do like the guy's doing like, and there's one where like 2 skeletons are hitting each other and they turn to little bones, or one guy's like doing the dance with the behind the thing. It's great.
So why do you want to? So what do you think of that idea, Angel, as a podcast?
I have no words.
You have no words.
I'm fucking speechless right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, hopefully.
But I like the word bam. I can get behind that.
Bam, bam.
So that makes you more likely to tune in than if there was no BAMs in that title?
I think you're right. No,
yes.
I agree 100% with that. So I think
the BAM is what sells it.
Like, this guy might be crazy. Crew. I'll tune in to see what's going on with this crazy guy.
That's the Skeleton Crew, but BAM. I'm good.
The Skeleton Crew stickers, because I don't want people to... Because Skeleton Crew is a very common term.
You're losing me with the Skeleton Crew.
I have to be honest with you. You might as well go off on this tangent and just really ride it all the way in. Really. I think that's
but I'm saying
great.
it's actually a big part. I know it sounds strange, but they are kind of a big part of my life because I do spend a lot of time chatting in Facebook Messenger. So every day, I bet you I share the Skeleton Crew, but at least 50 times, maybe more than that. And as people that know me know, I do spend some time talking about them every day.
And now, what was some of your other runner-up ideas for podcasts?
Well, it was a spinoff with just one of the Skeleton Crew guys. Of a spinoff of this spinoff, but I decided that might be too niche.
Get off your
maybe in the future.
Can I ask why you don't do a podcast about fucking sports? You love fucking sports, man. You do.
I do think about doing I think about doing one about LeBron, like LeBron centric.
Slow down, Angel. Slow down. Let Angel talk. Lou, okay. Slow down, Lou. Let Angel talk.
No, it's something that I know you have an interest in. You always fucking bring up basketball when we're talking. You could have episodes upon episodes about fucking LeBron. The guy is a very interesting dude. He does a lot of interesting shit. But I'm just saying, you love sports. Like, do you really fucking love skeleton dudes? Do you really love the word fucking BAM?
I do love
other
them.
than going through a fucking dictionary and reading the origins of the word BAM, who gives a shit? But basketball, I could fucking talk about basketball or listen to someone talk about basketball for hours.
I agree with you.
I love you, but who the fuck cares about those goddamn stickers?
But I'm saying that's what I love about it. That my mission is to make people care.
I got a little delay on that one.
People need to care about them. But
no one will.
But not because I didn't try, though. I'm going to be like years from now, say like, you're right, Angel. But God damn it, it's going to be like 500 episodes before I'll give up. Because they deserve their due. They're cool.
I think you're going to fucking run out of steam on that.
I think he's going to run out of steam on this episode.
But no, I should. So you're saying like it's perfectly legitimate for me to do a podcast titled "It's All About LeBron."
Yeah,
that's my philosophy of my life.
No. Listen.
Or yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Ainge. No, really.
I was just look. Keep the fucking title. The skeleton school kids fucking stickers. Whatever fucking BAM.
Exactly what I was going to say.
But then talk about fucking sports, man. Whatever.
You're saying
about
like
something you're interested in.
Make that like that is the show, and I always talk about it though. But the broader part of the show is nothing to do with that. It's like more sports related.
The 5 seconds before we talked about anything and we started doing a podcast and you talked about the fucking Lakers being on a winning streak, you were so excited. You were genuinely happy and you were genuinely talking about it. If you did that shit for an hour, I would listen to you.
I think we found a holy trinity here, guys. I think we're sitting in the...
I thought about it.
I would, 100, because Lou, I can hear it in your fucking voice, man. When you talk about sports, you get so amped up on it. You get so excited. It's cool. It's fucking awesome. That makes me interested in what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, I thought about it before, but I just thought like, well, who's going to listen to my LeBron show because there's so many LeBron shows.
I hope I've cleaned up your voice on this episode, man. Your mic.
No, I agree with you. I should do it. I've been thinking about doing it, but now that you telling me, that pushed me over the edge, and I will do it. Because
you're gonna call it Skeleton Crew.
No, I'm doing 2 different podcasts. Now I'm doing that one.
Oh my god!
No, you can't
keep the skeleton crew. Keep the fucking skeleton crew name.
That's
you
need
to name it Skeleton Crew. Bam. What is it called again?
You guys, Skeleton Crew stickers. Bam, bam. No, that's a separate podcast. I can do a podcast.
That's the one podcast. That's the one
you're not in charge of me.
You do.
You're not my boss. You can't tell me what to do.
I agree. Dude, I think having the weird fucking name works.
Lou, I'm gonna fucking put pies in your face tonight, man. I swear to God.
No, I'm saying I'm just gonna do 2 separate podcasts. Jordan knows that I'm manic enough to do 2 separate podcasts.
Yeah, and it's been very successful for you so far. I'm trying to get you into. You got to do. Okay, listen. I don't want to go down that. We're going too far down this fucking road. Do the one goddamn podcast. That's it. Honestly, I'm not even going to show you what the fuck I'm going to show you. We've been talking.
I'm just to spite you. I might do that podcast just about the guy that does the chin ups. Like just a spin-off podcast about the guy that does not chin ups. He's doing a barbells. He's like one of the skeleton crew.
I have no idea what you're talking about. So
I'm talking about doing a spin-off to the spin-off. Okay, but we'll move on.
Okay.
Who the
yeah,
fuck
yeah.
cares
All right,
about those goddamn stickers?
Personally, I think it's really funny to have a Skeleton Crew stickers bam bam and just have it be the most random show in the world. But, make it funny. And, kind of like you're being right now, minus the, broken hard on. But then otherwise, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that's it. I don't think you need 2 podcasts. I'm saying that with all my heart.
Okay. No, okay, I'm actually coming to your reasoning now. So as long as every episode I have to talk about the Skeleton Crew a little bit, which I'm going to do anyway, it's fine.
You talk about whatever the fuck you want, because everyone right now is going, what the fuck? Because obviously I've shown these skeletons, and we've talked about it too much, and you're going to make a whole goddamn podcast about it, and I'm ready to move on. You see, so
you're saying it doesn't matter. They're going to come because they like me, not because the Skeleton Crew.
Exactly.
They don't know what the fuck it is. Okay,
they're going to be like, what the
it.
fuck, Lou? Fucking Skeleton Crew. All right, fine. I'll listen to this fucking guy. That's what it's going to be.
Can I share one more cool detail that I found out just yesterday?
One more.
Please.
One more.
I was looking at the Skeleton Crew sticker, and then there's a camera on it. This is true for all the stickers. And you click the camera, and it pops up like a picture of yourself, and you can stick the Skeleton Crew guy on your picture. So I was like, so of course I shared it on Facebook about 5 times.
Man.
Twitter.
All right. So on that cheesy ass shit note, we're going to take a break here. Thank you everyone for lasting this long. When we come back, we're actually going to start talking to Angel about all the dirty work that goes on behind the scenes at AAA video game, visual effects, that kind of stuff, industry, office. He's a producer. He's high powered. He's the man. And you're just going to have to trust me on this. So please stay tuned. So why not just use soap and water to remove booty smells like a regular person? Well, the problem is toilet paper. Yes, that stuff we use every day is making you stink without you even knowing it. And it goes like this. Say you're hiking through the mighty land and oops, you fell into the mud and look, it's all over your hands. All you can do is wipe them off with the napkins you have stuffed in your pockets, but of course you know that they won't totally clean all the mud off. There's still going to be a thin layer of dirt on your palms that won't go away until you find a sink or a river. Well, the same thing is happening in the bathroom, friends. We are literally rubbing our bunk into our trunk. And it just sits there all day until we shower. And in the meantime, that thin layer begins to marinate under the skin. And once it's in there, it's impossible to wash out. We can scrub and scrub and scrub, but there will always be that certain essence left over. I don't even want to mention what happens after a few years of this behavior. And baby wipes don't get everything. Definitely not the stuff that's already in there. So we're still stuck in the muck. The only way to lift that baked on booty is Booty Fresh. The Booty Fresh is not a cover-up. Instead, it pulls out and zaps the odor-causing bacteria that is hiding underneath the skin that regular soap and water and washing and scrubbing just can't get out. No, this is not a joke, and yes, it really works. You just spray it on, let it sit, rinse it off, and bam, the sweet smell of nothing. Never worry again about ruining your chances with that hot date or missing a shower because you're off slaying that dragon. Booty Fresh gets you back to zero with just one use, and you can actually feel it working. Booty Fresh is made with totally natural ingredients already meant for the skin, and one use will work up to a whole week. So for all your intimate close encounters, or to just make sure that you're OCD clean back there, spray on Booty Fresh and bring out only the truest you. Get some Booty Fresh and love your butt.
Available at Amazon.com.
Oh, yummy.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. I've got my little snack here because I am very excited to be listening to Angel's soliloquies on the industry of, well, AAA gaming and VFX and that kind of thing, mostly on AAA gaming and all the torrid things that go on in the AAA video gaming industry. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Again, if you want to catch this on YouTube, you can, as well as the whole show. Did you know that I decided to have the whole show on YouTube, fellas, instead of just the interview?
I did know that because I follow your
it.
Facebook page.
Did you know that, Angel?
I did know that. I'm very happy about it.
I'm not. I'm going to have way less money now. Anyway. Okay, so I've got my toaster strudels and I've got my salami.
Is that what that is?
Dude, I take whatever's American here in Mexico, I take it.
What's that picture behind you of?
Maybe
someone eating a toaster strudel.
It could be.
Maybe one of the best pictures ever. Is that awesome? Anyway.
Is it like a mouse in some woman's mouth? That's what it looks like to me.
It's like a popsicle. Anyway. Okay, Angel.
Hey, bud.
Welcome to the show as a guest.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
It's weird to be sitting on this side. Sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let me see here. Let me dig this up. So you are a video game producer. You produce video games. I have questions, but I want to start off with a story here.
All right.
Red Dead Redemption 2 just came out on PC. Okay? Now, nobody knew if this game was going to come out on PC. There was rumors, there was some evidence, right? We all really wanted it to happen. I'm a PC guy, okay? I'm not ashamed, not proud. I'm just a PC guy.
PC guy over here too.
Yep. Okay. So I got to carry this shit around. I can't carry anything too big. I've got a virtual reality headset. I got a laptop that has a 1080 GTX NVIDIA video card in it. That's the last I'll talk about that. And yeah, that's what I've got. So Red Dead Redemption's got to be one of the best games coming out, period. We're all waiting for it. We hear it's coming out, I think, about a month before it released. I bought it. I'm waiting. And the game hits. It takes me a long time to download it, 150 gigs, something like that. And I'm in Mexico, so it took me a long time to download it, preload it. Game hits. I get on Twitch. Even Lou's going, hey, why don't you start Twitch up and I'll take a look at it. I start Twitch up. I run the game, and it runs like complete shit. And it was one of the most fucking disappointing experiences of my life.
I remember you telling me about it too. I remember you you were not too pleased.
Oh man,
you were texting me about it a couple days ago whenever it was happening.
Now, yeah, exactly. And obviously, you're not going to want to watch me play because it was like it was awful. I have a powerful system. It's powerful enough. At least I thought it was. So anyway, I'm super disappointed. Now, this hype that I had, the hype was so big, and I was so ready. And to have this, it's like someone took a dump in your Christmas present. You know what I mean?
I can imagine.
It's like there's this scat smeared all over your.
So were you all about the first Red Dead game?
I don't know because I don't have a PlayStation. I only have PC.
Oh, so you never played the previous one. You're starting new with the 2.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So I'm like, hell, I'm ready. I actually listened to the story of the first one because I don't want to bore anyone. But anyway, I was so disappointed. I was so ready. Like my whole world became, ooh, when this comes out, it's going to be the weekend. And, soon I'm going to sit back with my popcorn and my,
Oh, I remember you talking about this too.
Yeah. I'm trying to get everyone to play it. I think we brought it up on an episode. I'm not sure if we're going to air that episode, but we brought it up. Oh, yeah, we did.
Group chat.
Yeah, we talked about it.
It was a big group chat conversation. It was a big part of our group chat conversation
trying to get
for a
everyone
while.
going. So anyway, so much hype. I mean, it's a huge game. I mean, we're talking huge game. People might not know about how crazy video gaming is and how popular and how incredibly profitable it is. Like we're talking more than the movie business here, right, Angel?
Yeah, actually, Red Dead Redemption 2, when it first landed on PS4 and Xbox, the opening weekend was $725 million.
That's insane. That's crazy.
And isn't the global revenue something like 100 billion or something like that?
It's gone over $1 billion.
I don't know about 100 billion.
I don't. It's definitely
the whole globe. Like,
No.
because the U.S. is over. If it depends what you count.
$100 billion.
$1 billion.
No, I'm serious because the U.S. is over 20. I think
No.
about World of Warcraft generates probably like 2 or 3 billion just off the subscriptions.
Yeah, no, it definitely didn't go to 100 billion. It's definitely one of the most profitable games of all time. I think actually, oddly enough, Rockstar GTA 5, I think, is so far the most profitable anything as far as entertainment is concerned of all time. It's beaten out every movie. It's beaten out every game. Just because of the post-launch content and all their GTA Online stuff, it's literally, I think it's up there. It's like the most profitable piece of media that's ever hit.
They're a lot more profitable than movies, right? Like on just a per investment basis.
Well, they can be if you really think about the budget. Like the budget for Red Dead Redemption 2 was anywhere between 30. The last time I read this, which was recently, was anywhere between 30 to 100 million dollars. So if you're thinking about 30 to 100 million dollars for years, like we're talking years of development and story and everything that went into that, in the opening weekend, it profited. It was in the positive $625 million. Under the assumption that the game cost $100 million to make, it made in 3 days $625 million. That's insane.
Plus, it's a more efficient like entertainment source. So like, say I buy a game, I buy Civ 6 for $60. I play it over 1,000 hours. Like I see a movie, it's like an hour and a half, and I paid like $20.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think there's more what you call replay value in games than you would movies. Like you're more inclined to play a game, more than once.
Can you think of a movie Can you think of any movie that you've seen 1,000 hours of? I would doubt it.
I mean, I can think of movies that I've watched like
yeah, you are watching. You're asking the wrong guy, Lou. You thought that's not going to be the answer you want to hear.
But not 1,000 though. But that's a lot for a movie. That's like 50. That's like watching it like 60 times or
yeah. I mean, I've watched Christmas Vacation probably over 100 times in my life.
Okay, all right.
Wow.
So it's big, folks. It's as big or bigger than movies. Maybe not overall as bigger than films, but the games have killed sales of movie tickets. Like you said, opening weekend. What was it? 700 million for
725.
So
that's a record.
Yeah, I think so. I think that actually hit most records
because it was
for games that hit most records.
Was it like a simultaneous?
Films have beaten that out. Definitely.
Was that like a simultaneous worldwide release? I take it then to get that kind of number in one day.
Yeah, I think. Definitely European markets, definitely the U.S. market. So yeah, you could definitely say worldwide.
So listen, the game obviously is big. I was super excited. It took a year for it to come out on PC. Again, we didn't even know it was going to happen. It dropped. I don't know what the percentage is, but something like, I don't know, maybe 10 to 20 to 30%, maybe 50, I don't know, was getting this horrible stuttering in the game, and they just couldn't figure it out. Like nobody could figure out how to really make it really make it work. And I was heartbroken. And then Reddit, I finally figured out how Reddit works. Reddit is a place you can go to talk shit about something. Reddit went crazy. They went crazy. I got my Reddit, comeuppance on that, or my lesson there, my schooling. And I was addicted to Reddit, trying to figure out every day what the hell's going on. Is there a patch? Is there something they're going to release to fix the game, fix it? And everyone's complaining, and everyone's this, and I just really got my first experience of all this stuff. And I got addicted. I got addicted to the whole thing of like, oh, did they come out with something? Oh, what's the new fix? What's the new? And I kept trying the game. I was really in this like weird hole of this obsession that I was going off of trying to play this game. Now, that's the power of video games. And really, like sometimes it was like taking half my day, just trying things out, trying settings. Here's the thing, Angel, and I guess we'll start off with this. We didn't hear shit from Rockstar for like a week. I don't quote me exactly, but like we didn't hear anything. You know, I think we got a little morsel when they said, we understand there's problems and we're working on it. But we really didn't even understand if they were acknowledging that there was stuttering problems and this and that. Like they weren't even saying anything. So like there was, I mean, half the people couldn't even launch the game. I'm not sure about that. That might not be true, but many people couldn't even launch it. That was a big problem. So anyway, maybe they're fixing the launcher. But they don't know about the stuttering. We don't know shit. They didn't talk to us. I'm going to hit you right away. And you've made AAA games in your life. Okay. What's the deal, man? Why everyone is like, why don't they just communicate with us? Why don't they just talk to us and tell us, okay, listen, okay. What's going on here, Angel?
So I can tell you there's a few theories behind this. Obviously, since I have never had the pleasure to work with them, I couldn't tell you exactly what would happen. But in the games that I've released, I've seen a few things happen. One is you have to realize that the studio is testing all of this on specific hardware. So a lot of times you have this issue where we've been testing this over and over and over and over again and tweaking it with all the settings that they have. And they sometimes, and I don't know if this is true with Rockstar, but it's true with my studios, we have simpler systems, right? Like a base level system for where we can benchmark things, like saying, hey, at the bare minimum, you should have this in order to run the game successfully. Okay. And if you had something like this, it would be great. Okay. But anywhere in between, and this is a real pain in the ass with PCs, and I've seen it happen, is that you just don't know. You have no clue what someone's system is going to do or what specific cards are going to do.
Where it comes to consoles, it's a bit different.
Yeah, because everything is preset in a console, right? A PS4 is a PS4 is a PS4. It's the same thing with an Xbox. But PCs, that's when shit can get really tricky. And the other thing that can happen, and thank God this didn't happen with that game, is TV settings. You know, now when you have like HDR and all that shit, it totally throws this wrench of what is someone with a different television or not with our standard settings going to do. But again, that can be very easily resolved with general settings,
that's fine.
As with what you were experiencing.
So you have a bunch of variables when it comes to PC stuff. Okay, so there's problems. There's going to be problems, but then there's no communication. You know what is with that? What is with that whole thing with the industry, I guess, or with what's going on there when they're not going, hey, okay, we get it. There's something going on.
So a few things. One, there's the first reaction, which is, oh shit. So everyone goes in this panic. If they didn't already know about the problem, which they may have, then it becomes a struggle of how do we recreate the problem here and figure out what the hell is going on? And then when they find the problem, then it's just like, oh shit, what's causing this? So then, you go through is it the launcher? Is it the game? What could possibly be doing this? And then it's this idea of how do we respond to this? Like, guys, we're working on this deadline. What do we say? And I don't know, that's where politics come in. And it's just like, I don't know, like how should we react to the public? But it's funny that you bring this up because this kind of happened with another game that came out, which is called The Outer Worlds.
I thought you were going to say No Man's Sky. I was asking about that one.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Are you talking about multiplayer issues or single player? I don't know much about this game.
This was a single player issue.
What are we talking about? What are we talking about here, boys? Red Dead.
Well, you're talking about Red Dead.
Yeah. This is just game, the whole game in general.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so Outer Worlds had not the similar issue, but they had issues. And Obsidian was actually just recently praised because they were on Twitch streams, like people that worked for them, and they were like responding as things were happening, going, hey, we see it, we've recorded it, and we're checking in on it. But also, it's a smaller studio. It's a great team over there. Okay. But I don't know, man. It's tough. You know, Red Dead was such a huge publicity thing that I think that, Rockstar is just being super cautious about how they're addressing problems. Maybe they don't want to take ownership of
problem?
it.
But what is the problem? Like what? Not as what's the technical problem, but what's wrong with just saying? Listen, I obviously you're not Rockstar, but what? It's like explain yourself, Angel. Explain. Yeah. But what
was there a pressure to get it out before the holidays? Because I know that's the biggest sales time.
That's a really good question actually, and yes, I'm 100% sure that had something to do with it. Whenever I've released one of my titles, we're very cautious about when something is released and who are we going to be up against and what does that competition look like? Is it a different genre? And then the holidays.
There's what's the stats? Markets. You know the stats. What's the percentage of sales are in that?
Well,
winter
a lot.
Quarter,
a lot. I mean, obviously a lot, but
a big chunk, right?
But how? Obviously, but how far in advance are you planning this? As far as like this game's coming out, that game's coming out, so we have to plan this. How far in advance does that kind of planning happen?
Yeah, I mean years. Usually like 2 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Like a movie.
Yeah. 100%. And then all the studios. These guys aren't stupid. Like studios spend a lot of money to research things and to go through the idea of just like how are people reacting to X, Y, and Z. All right, cool. What's the market look like against us? What's our player base? There's so many different things that people will really factor in to try and really get as much sales as they can of something to make sure that their title is a success.
Do you guys have meetings with other companies and and kind of like say, okay, we'll release at this time and you release it then? Do you guys work that way at all?
No, not against other companies. Internally, yes. Like if we have partner studios, we definitely have cycles. So when 3 or 4 studios are all in the same family. Then they're just like, oh, you should release it this time. Then, like 3 or 4 months later, I can release this, or a year later, I can release this. And they come up with the best idea. But as far as competition, no, everyone wants to jump on top of each other. The goal is to be like, hey, that guy just released. Can we release early? Or can we do something to kind of capture that market because, we're going to release at the same time. So it's tricky. Thank God I've never been in those meetings because that seems to be really stressful.
Yeah. I mean, I can't even decide, like what microphone to buy.
Yeah. Oh,
but I mean, so for a game like that, so it end up making like 700 million. How much less would a game like that make if it had to come out in like February?
I love how he's still on the holiday season. I really want to get this point in here, Jordan.
It's funny. Let me double check, but I think Red Dead Redemption 2 came out in February of 2018. Let me double check.
Oh, but not on PC though. It came out on console first.
It came out on console first, which was also a huge plus for that.
But they're special though. That's a game that can get away with coming out then because they're so big, right? It's like StarCraft could come out in like March. It doesn't matter. It's like StarCraft 3. It's gonna. If you're a fan, you're gonna.
So Red Dead Redemption 2.
Right, yeah.
Oh no, it came out in October. No, it was October 26th. I'm sorry.
Okay.
2018.
Okay.
Can you think of a big game that's come out not in the fall?
Yeah, so a lot of games actually come out like around March and April. That happens a lot.
For the summer. Getting ready for summer.
Yeah, I think Uncharted came out. Uncharted 4 came out around just before summer, like around spring.
So you have your Christmas hits.
Actually, no, maybe that came in summer.
You got your Christmas hits and you got your summer blockbusters. I mean, it's the same thing. I mean,
also, what about the free part? The ironically called free games are some of the biggest, like profitable, like League of Legends. Isn't that one of the most profitable games? And it's quote unquote free to play.
Fortnite.
Yeah,
but it makes like $2 billion or some ridiculous thing. Like,
okay, but yeah, that's where you really. Sorry,
no. Go ahead.
No. I mean, that's where you really get into like monetization.
I'm going to talk about that a little bit. Talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah. But really, back to my original question here: why don't they communicate and basically say, "Hey, okay, we get it." Like, are they really trying to uphold some kind of image or I don't know.
Well, it's it's really really
Is it
unique to the
elitist? I
company.
mean, we're talking
and-
about like New World Order, globalist, like conspiracy theory.
I would like to put Rockstar into a better category than that. I just think I think it's a unique issue dependent on the studio. I definitely think there's a piece of that. Like, obviously, they don't want to admit that they released something that was broken to the public, especially their fan base. So I definitely think that has something to do with probably their response. But it does. The reason I brought up Obsidian and their response to their issues with their game was just that different studios handle things different ways. Obviously, Obsidian didn't have such a big issue, but again, the pressure to release a title that people already love, like Red Dead Redemption 2 is already a huge fan favorite. So to already have that pressure of everyone just like, now I want to play it. All my friends have been talking about it, but I'm a PC gamer. Now I want to. So that definitely plays into that when those type of things happen at a studio, like that plays into that panic where it's just like, what the hell is going on?
Right.
But it's less of a big deal, right? Like the PC, it dwarfs compared to what they make on the console version, right?
A fan is a fan. You know what I'm saying? And a fan base is a fan base. So you don't want to screw over anyone.
Well, because they were waiting. They were waiting so long for them to get patches out that Rockstar gave PC owners some extra, like a poncho or a gun or something on the online version of this game. And then you had console people coming in saying,
I didn't get that.
Not to mention the forgotten console.
What do you think that,
like,
how many people, do you think a lot of people play both? I would think if they're that big a fan, play the console and then the PC too.
Sure, definitely. I've bought in multiple games, and gaming studios are trying to do something called cross-platform now, which is a fantastic addition to gaming, and I love that. But there's Jordan kind of touched on it earlier. There's kind of a benefit to owning a game on a PC rather than a console because you're the one that really controls the quality of parts that you have.
and
a console,
and there's
you
a
don't do
mouse.
that.
They're always behind, right? The console's always behind. Even when the new PlayStation 5 comes out, it won't even be as powerful as the best PC will.
So it kind of has to be. That's the thing. It's just like you're talking about proprietary parts that no console person wants to take apart their console and constantly update the RAM, the processor, the video card. You're talking about a major investment in something. And to be honest with you, I think physical consoles will eventually be a thing of the past as more and more people start to go online and stream.
The conversation got interrupted because Lou had to take care of his mother. So we waited for him to come back. So basically everyone's disappointed about hype. You had this other game, No Man's Sky, that came out. Did you ever play No Man's Sky?
I never did.
It was one of the most... I was so excited about this game. I was so incredibly hyped. Like, I'm just like, I can fly from planet to planet.
Yeah.
There's going to be Star Wars battles. There's going to be all these missions and all this stuff and la 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 la. And everybody went crazy.
Wait, was this, hold on. Was
No
this
Man's Sky.
part of this? Like, I have this, scarf that I got.
It looks like some Harry Potter shit to me. Buddy.
I know, but, there you go.
No, that doesn't look familiar. What is that about?
I think this was from No Man's Sky.
Maybe.
I got it when I was at PlayStation. I don't know. I never played the game. I thought
Okay.
maybe it was significant.
It will be significant. It's a Kung Pao reference for everybody. But is there a reputation with No Man's Sky? Listen, No Man's Sky was this video game that everyone was super stoked about. So many features, so many things. Everyone was just projecting what they thought the game would be and everything you could do. You could do anything, and you could go on raids with people and join up with people, and you can have these big space battles. And when the game released, it was so, what would you call, dumbed down, like knee knocked, half cocked. It was just like Mickey Mouse, so not close to what the previews were showing this diversity of all this stuff, all this procedural generated stuff, and everyone was so pissed. And we're talking a $60 game here. And then the dev went ghost. Sean Murray, he was so vocal before he completely disappeared. Now, does No Man's Sky have some kind of reputation like this in the industry, or did that pretty kind of blow over?
No, I think that blew over because, what was really fascinating about that game, from what I heard, was really the artwork was incredible. The open worldness of it was also pretty fascinating for a game at the time. It was really interesting to see how expansive they really got. But I think it just kind of fizzled with a lot of gamers because there wasn't enough action. There wasn't enough substance in that game for them to really, put bite their teeth into.
Well, that's what it was. Yeah,
words.
Whatever. Yeah, that's it. That was the problem for sure. So,
but in the industry, no one talked. Like I didn't hear, "Oh man, don't be a No Man's Sky." There's definitely games out there like that, but No Man's Sky, no, that's not a huge significant.
But
failure.
what you really had was blatant lying. Really just blatant lying about what was coming out in the game and what actually ended up happening without a word about it. Like you had these previews that showed these procedurally generated, like rhino dinosaurs running through these procedural generated planet forests, knocking over trees and knocking,
Oh yeah.
And it was just so, like when you saw these animals on the final game, it was just so rinky dink, stupid, like nothing close to what they were pitching. And I'm just wondering how prevalent that kind of thing is,
So things like that,
when it comes to hype and it comes to,
things like that. So there's a few things that happen there too. One of the biggest things is that sometimes in a dev environment that works really good, but something that you really have to take in a lot of consideration, especially when you're going on console and PC, is frame rate. So, consoles can only push so far. So,
but what does that have to do with overpromising?
So here's the thing: is at the time they may have thought, yeah, we could get that through, but then when they actually try to run it as a final build,
I don't think
it shit the bed. You'd be surprised. A lot of games have changed in that way.
What were they trying to do? Were they trying to do 60 frames? What were they trying to do?
That.
But I can guarantee you 60 frames is a good benchmark to have.
But
what do most people play games on? Most people don't play games on 60 though, right?
I just don't think it's here nor there. This doesn't have to do, this is just, there was nothing graphically superior about it. I think it was mainly like how would you say, the ability to have the intelligence of these animals running through the forest, and all of this variety and all of this stuff.
The one thing that I am commenting on specifically was that massive, like brontosaurus type creature moving,
like rhino thing.
Yeah. Well, then you get into the game and you see it, and it's just stationary. It's just not moving. Right?
No, I'm just
maybe I'm thinking about a different game. Hold on.
I'm just talking about just this diversity and this total more interaction and more like ability these procedurally generated creatures have. Like I was thinking that the algorithm, let's say, for this procedural generated stuff was so sophisticated that it could really create all of these different scenarios on these planets that could have some relative uniqueness to them, even though it's procedurally generated, on these planets that really would make these animals like kind of adapted to the environment that they're in,
Sure.
the evolutionary train, and blah, 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 blah. That's what it really gave us the hope for. We projected such a degree of expectation on the game, and then it came nowhere close. And then there's nothing. You know what I mean? Like just like crickets when the game came out from the devs.
Well, that could also be the cinematics team. You know, like they all have the same character models.
Okay,
but,
you haven't seen it then, because it was a gameplay demo of it. Okay, so I mean,
No.
what I'm asking you here, not specifically with this game, but I mean, do you know anything about companies that just overpromise and then release it and then they go ghost, you know, kind of thing? I mean,
100%. But the company that I'm thinking of didn't go ghost, but they did not respond well.
okay, so
Who is it?
I mean,
so no.
I mean, what I'm asking is, what's the deal there? Like, what's going on there? Like, what's the, you know, what's the thinking behind that how people can get away with stuff like this?
I mean, how they can get away with it, I don't know. I think it just becomes damage control at that point. But I don't
know. But they know what they've said. They know what they
said.
said.
100%.
And then they know what they've said, and then they release not what they said, and then they say nothing. So
Sure.
it's like, I know you're not the villain here, but I'm looking for just some kind of inside track on, like, what's the thinking behind this? Like, how do they think? How do they think that they can kind of fool the gaming community?
I mean, I can say thankfully I've never been in that position, so I don't know, man. But I also think that it really boils down to politics. So I mean, I don't think it's any surprise or would be bad to even talk about. But you know, look at Fallout 76.
Yes, yeah, perfect example.
So you know that game, like there's so many sound bites of that guy saying, "Oh no, it just works." I'm serious. I'm not joking.
Right,
It just works.
right.
There's
It's
so
that
many
stuff.
sound bites with people's videos of like how bad that game was.
Yeah.
And they responded to the community in a very positive way. It took a long time to get that positive response, but I think a lot of that was like damage control. You know, Bethesda is a major company who's released amazing titles in the past. So at that moment, their entire fan base turned on them, and they're like, how do we handle this? Like, how are we going to handle this? So you can't just come back and say, guys, you know, if you take full responsibility for that, you're going to get crucified.
Because they don't want to lose the sales. I mean, can we say that?
Well, yeah, no, 100%. You know, look, you never want to hurt your fan base at all. You know, I can say that these companies are not heartless. You know, I've worked for big companies. Everyone that works there, at least the majority of them, are gamers. Like, we all really want to see this product succeed. But when it doesn't, it's, you know, there's a huge fear. Because remember, this is a company. It's an artistic, great gaming studio, yada, yada, yada. But it's a company. If we lose revenue, you know, that could tank a company. We've seen it happen before to successful companies. And it's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying.
Who does that happen to?
So Telltale tanked. Telltale tanked for a different reason. I don't think they alienated their community. They had some, you know, separate financial issues. Thank God there's a rumor of them coming back. I think the location would be in Malibu. That they're trying to come back to. Someone has bought the company.
They tanked and then they pop up again
It's a
in
brutal
Malibu.
business, though, right? It's a brutal business, right? From what I understand, most of the profits are made just by a few big titles, and most of the developers are struggling, right?
It's not as bad in gaming as it is in like visual effects. Visual effects, almost everyone's in the red. But in gaming, it's definitely brutal. It's heavily competitive, and your margins have to be larger than your budget, because otherwise you may not afford to put out another title. And you know, again, Telltale was in they were in like a really nice place.
What games did they make?
Francisco.
Telltale. What games did they make? Telltale? Do you know?
They did the Walking Dead series. They did Werewolves Among Us.
Very popular.
Very successful.
Yeah.
Very successful. They did the Back to the Future game. It's just they had a very unique gameplay style. It was very stylistic to that company. But they did great. I mean, God, I love The Walking Dead. I thought it was an awesome game.
What happened? You know?
I think, don't quote me on this, but I think they actually had like some embezzling like issues, just bad money management type of thing.
Not, yeah, I see. That's okay.
But I can't
not really
remember.
here nor there.
Yeah.
Do not quote him on that, everyone.
Yeah, please do not quote me on that.
Okay. So, I see. So, I mean, I guess I'm just showing my ignorance here of the whole thing, because it's just, yeah, when this hype, it's such a valuable thing, I think, and everyone's so scared of hype now, hype, and I mean, these titles coming out. Oh, that's why I was gonna mention this before we had that little pop there. When you guys are talking about kind of getting together and saying, okay, they're gonna release this, Fallout 76 is coming out this time, Red Dead 2 is coming out this time, and blah blah blah. When you guys are figuring this, it seems to me, do you guys ever have any like ringers or red or kind of, what's the word? Ringers that come in and they're just like, surprise, we're releasing. Like, does that happen? Like, where you really don't know? Like, take for instance Fallout, Fallout 3. I obviously screwed up and said Fallout instead of Half-Life. Half-Life Alex or Half-Life 3 is what I meant to say. That just kind of popped out of nowhere, as far as I can tell. Were you guys expecting that, or did you know, or did everyone know, or?
No, I mean, there's been so many games that have just like randomly announced at the last minute. Yeah. But there's also been a lot of games that actually end up pushing like a year. Like Uncharted 4, I think, when I heard about it, like they were already talking about pushing like 6 months. And then I actually worked on that project, and they ended up pushing longer and longer. And I mean, you want to talk about a scare on Reddit, man, like people were just tearing us apart for that.
Tearing.
Huh?
Tearing you apart?
Yeah, for pushing the game. Like, people were very upset about the game being pushed further and further and further.
Oh, Uncharted 4. So you worked on Uncharted 4?
Yeah, I worked on Uncharted 4. I worked with the cinematics and animation team over at Sony.
So you can't win. Either way, they're going to complain that it came out too soon, or that you're pushing it a year back, or what. Either way, they're going to the community's going to get upset.
Yeah, I mean, and you kind of get it. A lot of people pre-order, so they pre-order for a specific date, which kind of is terrifying in a way. and then there's people that are just excited, and then people are going to complain no matter what. You really can't get over it. But it was hard, and thank God that game worked out. Like we pushed for good reasons, which was just to make the game better, to elevate the story more, and it did, and it landed really well, and we were very happy with the success of it. But it was a scary time, and then all of us were reading the comments, which you just go down this hole, and you get sucked in to all the negativity, and then you're just like, ah, shit.
But the good side, it's like sports though. The upside is that those people care that much about the game that they're getting so upset. So that's a good fan. I mean, customer / fan.
But you also don't want to piss someone off enough that they're not going to give it the chance that it deserves when it comes out. Also, the criticism is going to be twice as hard, because now people are going to be like, listen, you made me wait an additional year. So now I am going to look at every nook and cranny of this game, and I'm really going to go to town. And that's kind of terrifying.
Now, let me ask you this. Does it affect sales, or do people cancel their pre-orders if you delay a game?
100%.
It really?
100%. I've had that happen at 2 different studios, where a Reddit storm of comments will come in about one thing or another. It's not necessarily pushing, but they'll call on the community to take pictures of their canceled pre-order.
Man.
And that sucks.
And so is it common? Like, how often does it happen, do you think, when a game like fails, and then people get so upset that they won't buy games from the developer at all anymore? Is that, I know it happens, but is that like a big thing?
I mean, that's a huge scare depending on the title. So, I think Bethesda's going through that right now. They've had so much negative publicity and it really, really sucks. And
it's really feels 76 is really taking a chunk out of Bethesda, and it's sad.
It really
it's really
has.
sad. Yeah,
it for me, it's heartbreaking because I love their games. Like, I'm not selling it. I've never worked for them, but I love their games, especially the Fallout series. So I was really pissed.
Are they independent? Are they owned by somebody? Or are they just an independent
No,
developer?
they're a huge company. And I think they're partnered up with another one.
So they're like on the stock
Softworks.
market then, like they're.
Yeah, let me see the parent company.
Because that's another big pressure that's always there. If you're one of the major developers for like EA or something, and their stock starts hitting because of your bad game, like that's 100%. A big pressure too.
Yeah, no. So ZeniMax Media owns Bethesda, and ZeniMax. So to kind of throw it out there to tell you who's part of their family is id Software, and id has been around forever, and Ubisoft. So the other thing that you have to think of too is so ZeniMax is a major corporation and Bethesda is just a part of it, but it employs so many people and it is responsible for so many good titles that even just like, I don't think it's going to happen, but let's say you lost Bethesda, like that would just suck. Like it would really, really suck. I don't think that's going to happen at all, but it definitely is going to hurt. And then the next thing that they're going to release, everyone's going to be like, well, is this going to be another Fallout 76?
Yeah, right.
Like how big is it, Bethesda? When you're saying like hundreds of employees like that work on this game?
No,
like
you're talking about thousands of employees.
Thousands of people.
It's spread out. Like there's multiple studios.
But like full time, or some of those just coming in at certain parts, or you're saying like they got like 1,000 full time.
I would argue to say they have at least 1,000 full-time people, and then the studio definitely accordions as needed.
But like how many people would you say work on a game like that in general, like full-time work on a game that Red Dead 2?
Oh, I mean, easily. Look, so Red Dead 2, I think they said that they mocapped, which is motion capture, which is like physically capturing someone's body and movements. They mocapped over 2,000 people. So, I mean, those people obviously are not full-time employees. They're not there through the entire course of development. But it's just like, you're paying them for it. So.
Now, you and me worked at Sony Pictures Imageworks together. It's a VFX, basically, sister company to Sony Pictures. And I know it sounds very similar to big films they had over there. The biggest group of people, if I'm not mistaken, that they had as far as artists were concerned was lighters for these shots. Is it pretty similar with these studios as far as like the spread between layout and animation and lighting and FX? Is it kind of the ratios the same as far as the spread between the work of the artists, like the amount of lighters and all that?
No, I think it's a little bit different, like lighting. So as far as like, let's say a current team that I work on, the lighting is probably the least amount of people, and VFX artists are a lot bigger. Animation and gaming is probably the biggest,
right?
Because you're actually animating the characters. It's similar. It's probably a similar layout to an animated film. Because you're really building everything, and the only live action element you're using is the audio performance from actors or elements like gunfire, explosions, etc. Which is a huge talent on an animated film. I think, it's a huge undertaking.
Because the budget was what for that game was around what you were saying, like 100 million. What was the budget for it? For Red
Dead 2 was anywhere between $30 million to $100 million.
How? I mean, you have 1,000 people on staff. It seems like 100 million would just go.
Yeah,
but they make more than. But that's just one of their games, right? They make a bunch of games.
Yeah, it's just one of their titles.
So you're not saying 1,000 people worked. You're not saying 1,000 full-time dev guys worked on that game.
Yes.
That's not what you're saying, though.
Yeah,
that's what he's saying.
I mean, forget about the because the motion capture was like a huge chunk of people right there.
Yeah, so I mean, if you figure that someone's making $100,000 a year, that's 10. So 10 people, right, is $1 million.
So then, like a movie like Avatar had like what 30,000-40,000 people.
Oh, well, I mean,
like
Avatar now you're talking about a budget like in the hundreds of millions.
What you think about that, Lou?
I think that's a lot. of GDP.
That's a lot of dimp.
That's a lot of dimp.
Okay, so I just fixed the lag problem. I didn't set your guys' lag on Skype. Oh my god, you guys have been fucking latency like crazy. Okay, anyway. Okay, that's interesting. And can I ask you about Uncharted 4? I'm not familiar with that game. Is it open world?
No, it's a guided.
Okay.
It's a guided experience.
Okay. Do you know anything about
you can
open
move
world?
around quite a bit. Oh yeah, I love open world games.
Okay, can I ask you just a question? Because there's so much going on in open world games. I mean, you're talking every building, every fucking street, every person walking around, talking, voices, actions, story.
Are you talking about World of Warcraft? Does that count as an open world game?
No, that's just
not World of Warcraft.
No,
It's an
I think
MMO.
that's a different thing. Yeah.
What's the difference in? I'm confused.
Well, MMO. I mean, open world ish.
I mean, like
yeah,
a
sure.
single player experience, open world kind of thing. Like, I think really is a big part of.
So like Grand Theft Auto is like that. That's what you're talking about. That's a pretty open. I mean, it's not infinite, but it's pretty open, and it's kind of hard to explore the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
Right?
I mean, traditionally, open world in and of itself is like you're not on rails. You can go over there, up, down, left, or right, kind of thing. Where I don't know, Fallout game, Fallout, Far Cry, Skyrim, but then a game like...
So it's very open-ended what you can do. That's what you like about it? Like the gameplay is open-ended too? Or just the environment is very...
it's kind of like you're in a simulated world and you can do what you want, kind of thing. But my question is, whereas like a World of Warcraft would be... I think developed really slowly over time, adding things all the time. It's more of an online experience rather than like a single player campaign thing, which obviously, Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead 2 have an online experience as well, which is quite similar, but using that same world, and it was all kind of developed right then and there for the single player experience, I think, at least initially. I mean, do you know how many story writers and how many kind of world developers, how big is that department? I mean, is that like a huge part of it, or
you mean like for an RPG type game? Is that's kind of what you're talking about?
RPG, yeah.
Like give them an example. What's the real popular one that has the 1 and 2 versions of it? It's called like Kings or Age of something, or like it's very popular. Like Kings something or it's a PC game.
I don't know. Fallout, as we say, Fallout, Red Dead 2, Far Cry.
The teams doing the work, it's surprisingly not that many.
Man.
But the amount of work that they have to do is exhausting when you think about it. People, voice actors have talked about this like in length about how many hours you have to go in there. It's funny, actually, Joe Rogan talked about doing the UFC game and how many different variations he had to talk about, like for every different hold and every different guy getting into a situation and him getting out of it.
Yeah.
Like he's just like the hours that he had to put in.
Is that changing now? Because I know there's a lot of, you see more in the media, a lot of pushback about these crazy hours. Is that actually affecting are the hours being cut back, or is that having no effect on that? Because it's a lot in the media now. You hear about these works saying like, I can't do, this is absurd where I have to work 90 hours a week for like a summer, or like there's more. I hear about it more in the media. Like even regular people that don't play video games are hearing about it, I think.
Yeah, no, I think that's just the nature of the beast.
It's just like Hollywood.
So it's not going to. It's not.
Everyone's going to bitch and moan. Everyone's going to bitch and moan about working over 12 hours on a Hollywood set. But dude, you want to work in the industry? you know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, but let me ask you, how in God's name? I mean, it sounds like a nightmare and a half. Like how? I mean, especially Red Dead and Cyberpunk that's coming out. I mean, the amount of interaction that you can have. What they're saying is every single person walking down the street has their own storyline and their own, not something you can follow necessarily, but you could follow them in the world and see them doing something from night to day, kind of thing. Like, what? How is that possible to think of all that? Just like you're saying, all the different variations of the UFC fighting with Joe Rogan. How, Angel? I want you to tell me.
So, one of the biggest pushes you're seeing in game studios, especially people that have to deal with open world scenarios like that, where characters can randomly take a different path, really falls on like UI teams. So user interface teams, and then coders and engineers, because you can't write a specific storyline for each individual person. You can give all those people dialogue.
Right.
But you can't really like choose a path that they're going to take. You can just give them an X, Y, and Z type of thing.
But I mean, I understand some of that, but I really mean like NPCs who are just walking down the street. You don't even need to like fuck with them, you know, but like they're there, and then this alleyway and this, I mean, yeah, there's all of that. And I kind of see how that works, to be honest with you, when you're like interacting with people and the path you can take. There's only so many things you could do.
Isn't there some AI that the characters will have so that like they respond a certain way and they can respond? They don't just have a pre-planned. Don't they have some kind of AI?
This is what I'm saying. It's like these are all randomly generated algorithms that will give characters the ability to interact in environments in a certain way. Really? There's 100%.
So they have they have personalities 100%. That you say like, hey, to the one person, another person's going to react differently in this world.
Yes, but you're giving it. So the thing is you're programming that only in one instance, but you're giving it various different options. Mm-hmm. And then you're just basically repeating. You're writing a program that repeats per NPC. So per character. So it's not, you're not doing this per character. You're just creating it. You're creating one template, and then that's basically copied amongst other people.
What when you start going off to the edge of the world, do they just start developing more world and then catch up to you? Is that what?
No, there's a cutoff. There's a wall. There's an ice wall.
They have a map. Yeah, they have a map. They have an area that they can interact in. But things such as like Red Dead Redemption 2 are amazing because, like, let's say, and I think I've talked about this to you, Jordan. Let's say your character doesn't bathe. The way that NPCs and even story-driven characters react to you is different. But there's only a certain amount of NPCs that will react to you in that way because there's only so much dialogue that they were able to get from people.
So, I mean, there's so many options. I mean, there's so many different variables. Who is the one who holds all of that in their head? Like, who is the one who wrangles all of those different possibilities? There's got to be like a big sheet or a big billboard, so to speak, or a one brain.
Like the equivalent, like the Avengers guy, like the guy that's in charge of the whole MCU, like that guy, but for this game, you mean?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because there's one guy in charge of that's overall in charge of the overall arc of the Avengers, and apparently, like, he gets a lot of credit for. Is it Kevin?
There you go, exactly. But not only
he gets a lot of credit though.
Not only just
like he gets
right. So not only just that, but just all of the detail. Like, where is that held? Where is all of that? Who's? I just can't.
So the environment, the environment, and the environment and the artistic teams are insane. The stuff that goes into concept is just, oh my god! Like that's what you see most of the development being built around. It's just kind of like, hey, we need to concept this out. What is this city going to look like? What is this terrain going to look like? I've been on games where we've like sat and we talked about skies. Like that's been a major focal point. It's just like, hey, the character just saw this sky in this level. If they go to this level and they see the same sky, they're going to be bored. Let's change it up. What can we do to the environment?
Is it moving faster in terms of like how fast the video cards? Because I know that pushes a lot of the changes. Like if the video card can do like 820 times anti-aliasing, then you're going to put a game with that in there.
Okay,
Is that happening faster now?
Well,
no.
No, I mean, technology's it's always going to be moving fast.
Yeah.
And,
But no, we're just talking about the actual artistry of it right now. And real quick, Lou. So you say that these. I'm just curious about the techniques of this. So you have people who are handling is there like an artist that says, okay, you've got this town, or so fucking design the whole town, or like you've got this bar from this town, and then we'll give you the next thing after the bar. And so how long will one person like spend on the bar just designing, like all the different things, or is everyone working on the bar and then everyone moves on to the shack, like that kind of thing? How does that work?
Everything is sectioned off, and you have specific artists working on each section of things. So you have let's say you have a giant expansive map. This portion over here, this let's say this 15% will go to a specific designer. It'll go to a specific lighter.
Okay.
And it'll go to specific VFX artist. Like all of that will be handled with one thing.
Okay.
But then materials that like explode, all of that is the same in the entire world. A bottle breaking in Rhodes is going to break the same in Strawberry as the same in Valentine because it's the same fucking bottle. Scriptables are handled the same way. There's a lot of shit that's repetitive, but designers
are these guys
broken up.
working in teams much, or is it just most of them individually just doing their stuff and then occasionally, or are they really like working with each other a lot?
No, 100% that they work in teams, but each designer usually gets their own creative touch on a specific thing. Like you can even see that some stuff is stylized in a certain way. So you can be like, hey, the guy who created this town is obviously the same guy who created this other town because the style of things are similar. Or
so they get sort of like a minor level fame within the video game industry as like the guy that's like does this or whatever.
Sure, it's the same thing in film, where you're just like, oh, I worked on that scene. I did that scene, it's just like, yeah, you're using the same tools as everybody to make sure
it's nice that they have a personal touch inside of a game that you can say like that. That's cool, I think.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I mean, those are artists.
So can you do that? Like, do you know something when you're playing a certain game, you could actually like, it's, oh, that's this guy, that's this, or like.
I mean, as of late, there's nothing specific that I can point to. I could just tell you anything that had to do, like, currently I'm a lighting and VFX producer. So I'm what you call client side. Like I'm not a vendor. I work for like a main studio. So like when I worked at Sony, I was working at PlayStation. The guys who made Uncharted were Naughty Dog, and we just worked on the cinematics for Naughty Dog. So we weren't, the actual studio. Now I work at an actual studio. So anything across the entirety of the game in all game modes, I work on the lighting and VFX. Anything lighting and VFX related. And that's not me putting my hands on it.
So you're the guy that Jordan was talking about. When Jordan was like, who's the guy that knows, like, it's you. Jordan's like, who knows all those? Like, it's you. You're that guy.
Knows all of what?
Remember, Jordan was like, who knows everywhere the bar goes? Who knows where this? Who knows, like, everything? Who knows, like, everything about the entire game?
No. I'm not that guy.
That's the conclusion you came to.
Close enough for me.
Yeah, good enough for Lou.
I am nowhere near that guy.
So is there really like one guy though that's like, is there really one guy who it's really kind of boils down to when it comes to that kind of innovation in gaming and stuff like this? Would that be like a game director or something? I'm really a lame. I'm so completely stupid when it comes.
It's just so massive that it really gets split up,
right?
But so yeah. There's art directors for single player. There's art directors for like main art directors for single player, multiplayer, narrative, and cinematic.
I think what he's saying is there like the equivalent of a director in a video game? I think that's maybe what he's thinking about.
Well, there's multiple.
Yeah.
But not one. Like movies tend to have
there's
like one, at least that's what you hear about.
Specific.
Yeah,
so it's not one specific. I mean,
Yeah.
and that's the other thing too, is I think you have to really figure out what a director's job title really is. I mean, they're not necessarily arting anything.
Right.
They're directing
They're like
artists.
managing artists. Right. Right.
Yeah.
And so
I mean, they're creatives, but their main job is to drive the art, not to do it.
Uh-huh. And so it was something like, let's say, Arthur Morgan's dialogue, and just the dialogue in Red Dead 2. It's so... I mean, you think of like Resident Evil, like, this sure is a big mansion, and I hope this is not Chris's blood, kind of thing. Like, it's just so stupid, and then you have this now with this level of nuance in the face and this the chuckle and
it's more Hollywood now. It's more Hollywood. Well, you have more Hollywood people do it now. It's more common. You get Hollywood people in these bigger budgets, so it is Hollywood now.
But
right?
I mean, you're right. You write a Hollywood movie, and it's 90 pages. This game. I mean, it's just listen, Angel. It's so big.
It's massive.
It's massive. So how many writers are on something like? Do you know? I mean, I know I'm asking you about Red Dead, but not like you would know, but
no. With Red Dead, I definitely couldn't tell you, but
yeah.
With some of the narrative teams that I've worked on, it's sometimes it's 5 or 6 people. Sometimes there's an entire writing team.
Yeah.
Probably, I mean, I would argue to say that 10 people is a lot of people for a narrative team.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people. And some studios are more collaborative with that work internally. And some studios aren't. Some studios are just like, no, the script is the script. And then some people are like, well, we could change things around and blah, blah, blah. It really varies from studio to studio. But working at major studios, I've had narrative teams that were 5 or 6 people, and we're talking massive AAA title games, not open world.
Mm-hmm.
But massive AAA games.
And this is a good time isn't the video games growing pretty well in general the last number of years?
Great time to be in the industry. Great time to be in the industry. I'm insanely excited about the future.
And
of
the new consoles the next wave is gonna come out within a couple of years.
The new gens are coming out. Everyone's talking about like PS5, and then I think the Xbox is like called the Phoenix or something like that.
So you have so it's huge, and you have obviously studios. Like I kind of coming back to like No Man's Sky again. A big part of a big part. No, I mean a big part of what it was in Sean Murray, this developer who was like the guy I'm talking about in terms of what holding the big brain behind the game of like this. A big reason, obviously, that he had for releasing the game when it did was that he had a lot of pressure from Sony, like PlayStation, because I think they had maybe the rights to it for a couple days before the launch on PC, and they pressured him into releasing it when they did. Do you guys get a lot of pressure from consoles and the like?
100%.
Really?
100%.
Why are
the publishers?
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off.
No.
The publishers, they're doing a lot of this financial backing, and and not only that, you're part of a huge corporation. So again, in Bethesda's case, Bethesda represents ZeniMax, and if ZeniMax has a bad reputation, then yeah, sure, if no one or if everyone gets a little on edge about the next Bethesda game, it's only a matter of time before they start shitting on ZeniMax, and then all these studios underneath ZeniMax are carrying the weight of another studio's problem.
Mm-hmm.
So, you see that all the time, especially with companies like EA and especially with companies like Activision. People attack those big corporations all the time, for decisions that may not have necessarily been with the publisher. It may have actually just been a studio's decision or a studio's failure. But then the entire corporation and all the studios underneath it, they start feeling the weight of that issue.
And like you're saying, people get laid off because of that. Like it's actually like at these level studios that are a couple Kevin Bacon's away are still like getting hit. Like they might have to lay off people because of these news items you're saying.
100%. And that happens all the time. And it's devastating when it happens because it kills morale. It's scary. Everyone starts to get on edge. And then sometimes, to make up for the financial loss, you're laying off people that are making a lot of money. And sometimes those are your best artists. And when you lose a guy that's been with the company for like 15 years or something, and the guy is responsible for so much amazing art, it's not only crushing to the morale of everyone around, it's crushing to whatever the next product that they're going to deliver is, because now that guy's going to go and get another job somewhere else, God willing, and then he's going to kill it and crush it for the other side. So it just like
kills the company. Like these are companies that like really good developers that might just not exist because of one news item. They might just go under ultimately because of nothing to do with their fault.
Yeah, no, and it's happened. Like the big corporations have ended up closing studios, just because something bad happened at the studio, something didn't deliver the way they thought it was, and they're just like, all right, well, let's just close the studio. Let's not risk that happening again.
Wait a minute, but so you have publishers who are what? They're PlayStation, they're Xbox. That's publishers.
Well, no, those are like the console makers. Okay. I mean, Sony does, PlayStation does publish games as well. But
that's what I was saying. But that's what I was saying with something like, so a publisher would be, you have the studio that makes it, just like Paramount and just like
EA is a big publisher
and all this. That's the publishers.
EA is a huge publisher.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about like the pressure that studios get, so what could have happened with No Man's Sky?
No, but again, what I'm saying is that the Sony PlayStation was really pressing them to release, or really, for this date. But it's the console, or maybe they were publishing it as well. I don't know. Maybe I'm stupid. I shouldn't be asking this question, but I don't know. So normally you're saying you don't get a lot of pressure from console makers. They don't give a shit, more or less? They're just like, yeah, go ahead and give us the game,
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's mainly the publisher. And then that kind of goes back to what we were initially talking about of release dates. Release dates are really important. So when a company does push, it's just like, okay, well, when are you going to push to? B, there's the financial hit of how much extra is this going to cost us that you're doing.
Yeah.
And then C, which is a huge thing. It's just like, well, what are we going to go up against?
I think, honestly, I'm just really asking about the console makers giving pressure, and it doesn't sound like, unless they're publishing the game,
unless they're publishing,
okay.
they don't
that's
care.
really all I was asking, because I was just like, wow, Sony PlayStation is pushing for this, like is the one putting pressure on.
There's a bit of that when it comes to what other consoles is this releasing on. If it's going to be a PlayStation exclusive, then yeah, you'll totally see like console makers, giving like, hey, Xbox has got these exclusives coming out. Right. We want our exclusive to come out sooner. Yeah. So there's times where that happens, but 9 times out of 10, it's your publisher. That's the one that's going to be like, hey, let's stay to deadline. Let's get this out. Let's do this.
Right. I see. Okay.
And the devs don't make much. But I mean, the devs don't make much profit. I heard until the publisher gets paid back. They're the one putting up the money. So, but I mean, that's still kind of unfortunate for the devs.
Well, yeah,
if the game doesn't make big money, they don't make like much then, right?
No. I mean, there's very few. I haven't heard of anyone in the gaming industry really getting residuals. That's not like a very top level person. The biggest thing, there's a few reasons why you want a massive return when you put out a game, other than just being successful and making money, which is great, awesome. But what you're really trying to do is bankroll the next big thing.
Yeah.
So, that you want that release to hit heavy. So that way, your publisher's just like, yeah, all right, go right into the next development cycle, or take some time, relax for a little bit.
So where do games make most of the money? Like in the first week, in the first month, in the first year? Or should I say, where do they over the long term, do they end up doubling money kind of after a certain cycle? Like, the lifetime of a game, that just keeps selling and selling? It's just a dumb question.
I think it's mostly that first 90 days, right? That's probably most of the sales, right?
Well, it's a real interesting question because it kind of opens the door to a lot of others in the sense that, it's just like a movie. Your initial sales kind of are going to make or break you. So you want a huge opening weekend. But also, what aspects of the game do you have? Just like, almost every game now has multiplayer aspects to it. And then with multiplayer, there's so many transactions that are now happening in games. So the profitability can really scale upwards as time goes on.
Right. Yeah.
So that's becoming a bigger chunk of the revenue is the microtransactions and like people buying like mods or like that.
100%. 100%. And it's a touchy subject for gamers, and I get it. But you have to pay for that art. I think what's on the studios to do is make sure that you're releasing enough content that players don't mind spending the money to get. I think GTA 5 did this pretty successfully. There was some problems behind that too, obviously the wealthier of a person you were, the more stuff that you could buy, and
what about loot boxes? That was a huge like controversy with the Star Wars game.
Everyone, please tell me what the fuck is the deal with loot boxes?
Because it basically says like gambling, right? Some states actually shut it down. Like I think Hawaii, you couldn't play that game anymore because they were saying it's getting kids to gamble.
Lou, can someone explain it to me?
Angel will explain it.
Okay, well, please let him do that.
So you buy like a loot crate or a loot box, and it randomly generates, a certain amount of items inside of it that a player gets.
Okay.
And then you can buy, in some games, you can buy better loot boxes than others. So you get like a rarer item, or just a more fancy item. And then this kind of goes into what I was just talking about with GTA 5 in the sense that could be really shitty if you're just some kid. And then there's this, 30-year-old, there's a guy like me that's sitting there going, yeah, sure, what the hell, I'll pay $100 for that. And it's just like all right, cool, I got a rocket launcher that kills everyone in the entire map with one shot.
Okay.
And
so it's like a fine line, right, between like we need to make more money off of other things in the game, but you don't want to turn like teenage kids into gambling addicts.
Well, it's not only that, you just don't want to pay to win.
Because it's basically gambling. That's what some states are classifying that as gambling, because you're like a loot box and it could be good or bad. Like that's what they've shut it down in some states, I think.
Sure, because it's an algorithm. It's a randomly generated algorithm to give you random things.
Like a slot machine is also the same way.
That's exactly what it is.
But then I hear that some of these loot boxes, if you bought like 100 of them, you would eventually get like... Okay, what's happening?
So that's a tricky thing, because you're not supposed to encourage someone to say, hey, after 100 purchases, we're just going to give you this thing.
Right.
Because then it doesn't sound like that. That's what this sucks, because I've been in meetings that people have talked about that. They're like, we should really tell people that, hey, if you've tried this 1,000 times and you're trying to get this one, we're just going to give you the item.
Yeah. Okay. It's a big thing though, right?
The way that people interpret that is, dude, let's just have them buy 100 of these things and then we'll give it to them. But we'll never give it.
It's a big, I heard, because especially on like cell phone games, it's a big issue of like how much of the revenue depends on these people that spend like thousands of dollars. Like it's a major part of it's how much should you, and is it right? Like I'm saying, that's an issue. I heard that's a big issue coming up. Is it right for a gamer to make $50,000 off of one guy? Because that happens sometimes.
But you have to also take into mind that's a small percentage of games that are coming. I mean, I guess now there's so many cell phone games. But yeah, it's a totally different beast. And I'm also kind of glad I never worked in that industry as well.
But it's a bigger what percent of the industry? It's a decent chunk of the industry now, isn't it? Cell phone games?
I don't know. I mean, it's just different. It's a completely different experience.
It's a much bigger market. You get people that play those games that never will ever buy a console or never play PC games, but like everyone
has a smartphone.
Your aunt will still play like Candy Crush Saga and
Sure. I mean, and listen, I think they all have their place. I just think that you need the first and foremost thing you have to do is entertain people, and I think people will spend money as long as you keep them entertained. And then it just becomes like, hey, listen, you're paying for the entertainment. Just don't make it, unfair to one person. You have to really balance that out. And it's a very tough line to toe.
Well, I think we can all agree that pay to play, or at least microtransactions or whatever it might be, it's not going to go anywhere. And it is a big point of contention. But when you have a game out like Fortnite that's free, I can kind of understand that. But when you have a game like a AAA game that you paid for, and then they have microtransactions in that, and they're going to make all this money. And then you got a game like Cyberpunk that comes out, which might not have all of that shit. There's not even multiplayer.
It's like, you're right. It's never going to change because they're never going to, like, rich kids that want to spend that, like, you're never going to say no to those people. Why would you? Like,
right.
Why would a developer do that?
But my question is, why would you not have, like, why would you have a game as big as, say, Cyberpunk that's coming out and it's so hyped and everyone's so excited. I mean, Keanu Reeves, come on, and then you're not going to have microtransactions in the game. And then you've got games that come out that are like, moderately hyped, and they're going to make like, how can you pass up on microtransactions or pay to play, or not pay to play, but just making pay to win. And but I'm not even saying that. But how could you pass up on that as a developer?
Well, it's not only that. I mean, again, I think you're thinking about it on more of a marketing and money making thing.
Sure. I mean, that's really. I mean, that's why games are getting released early. That's why like, just for instance, speaking of which, I want to show this. With the whole Red Dead 2 thing going on, and people are super pissed. They've got, someone had to actually complain to the Better Business Bureau to get their refund back. And the moment that they reported the Better Business Bureau, Rockstar finally came back and said, "Oh my God, we're so sorry," and gave them their money back,
But isn't some of it, like, Angel, probably that, like, even if they do everything that you're saying, a developer, how much is that really going to cut down the hate? And it's still going to be there, right? How much is that really going to?
Look, the hate will always be there. There's the people are always going to find.
And sometimes you said they legitimately don't know. Like, they legitimately, you could believe that for a couple of days they didn't know what was going wrong with Red Dead and
100%. That's
because there's too many systems, right? You got like, what infinite amount of systems possibilities, right? One guy's got this kind of PC and a GeForce, other guy's got a weaker PC and an AMD. It's like,
well, I mean, we did already touch on
and
that.
Motherboards and everything. And
we already touched
factors.
on that earlier. Yeah, that's what we were saying earlier.
The only thing that I want to throw out there in defense of games with different, not necessarily loot boxes, I hate to just lump that in as microtransactions, and I definitely hate pay to win. And all companies do. No one really wants to do pay to win.
Okay.
But what I am saying is that there are a lot of things that come out that are modifications. So let's go right into Cyberpunk, right? Cyberpunk has so many different variations of the character. People really want to mod these characters in different ways. So you have different outfits, different guns.
Why?
So all of that.
But why do people want to pay $100, let's say, for a jacket or something, or a hairstyle? Like,
because
I don't want to alienate anyone. I don't want to alienate anyone.
No, I'm saying, like, you don't realize how big a part of these people's lives it is. These people, when they get that in, they're spending like probably 40 or 50 hours a week on that game.
Yeah.
So it makes sense then if you're spending that much time. I mean, people spend $80 on a pair of jeans. Why wouldn't? I mean, it makes sense to me.
I think that is I'm surprised to say this, but that's an actual very, very good observation, Lou.
It's surprising.
And I don't play those games either, but I could just imagine. I haven't played those kind of games much, but I could just imagine what.
Go to the
pulls
cons,
them out
man.
Lou pulls them out every now and
dude,
again.
that was a fucking gem.
And I'm high too.
Go to those cons, man. Like, you know, if you go to BlizzCon, you find so many people like met their significant other on there. So many people role play on there, and it's just, you know, World of Warcraft is just a very good example of it. But there's hundreds of games.
I got so geeked out about Red Dead 2. I was so like, you know, like kind of embarrassed to tell people and find, you know, and I'm just like, fuck it, I don't care. You know, like, you know, like I want to play these games.
The best guy at BlizzCon is that kid. You seen those videos? This kid that like knows the game better than anybody else. Like he'll like ask a question like, how come in level 4 there's no wizard? And the guy's like, yeah, you're right. And like he's famous. You know what I'm talking? You probably know what I'm talking about.
I've actually seen.
He's like famous. Like everybody's like just stunned, and he's like, what about? Did you write the dialogue yourself for the 85th NPC that comes in the version 2? And the guy's like, oh no, we forgot to do that. And he's just like. He's like the god of that, knowing that game. It's like awesome.
Do you think kids like that get hired?
It's great.
Do you think they get hired?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, I knew a guy.
Maybe they did. I don't know his current status. Maybe they have hired him because he's like a rock star. I mean, at BlizzCon.
No shit. I know a guy that I was going to college with. He was a younger kid. He was way younger than me, and he used to make maps for a game that I won't call out. And no shit, he ended up sending them, and people started playing them. He had just modded maps that he made for himself, and then we'd have LAN parties, and we would play. And they got so popular that the company that made the game saw it and was just like, "Hey, would you like to come and work?" And he still works for the goddamn company.
Wow, that's
great.
Mods are a major, especially for certain PC games like shooter games. Mods are a major part of the. I mean, they rely on the community to come up with a lot of content.
You know what, though? We didn't even mention, Lou, you used to be a game tester, right?
Yeah. I used to be. Yeah, I used to work. I used to work with Grant Collier, who started Infinity War. But I worked when he worked at Ripcord Games up in 2000. We always play AOE 2 together. He always beat me, but I played. And then I also worked at TDK Media Active, which then later I just got bought out by 2K Games.
Nice.
I worked on a lot of bad Shrek games.
Do you guys have a nick? You don't have to answer. Do you have a nickname for the game testers?
No. No. It's just the quality assurance team.
Like the rats
it's different though. You should explain to them that it's much smaller though, right?
I'm joking.
The game test team at a developer is much smaller than a publisher in general, right?
Oh, well, no, they're both massive.
Oh, they're both pretty.
Yeah, I would argue to say the QA team that I currently work with is probably the bulk of.
And are they are the testers doing just as crazy hours as the rest of the devs that are doing like the levels and the stuff and the?
I'm not gonna lie, the QA department does the worst hours of the entire staff.
Wow.
They do the worst hours. They're probably the lowest paid because
they don't have much
biggest entry level.
They have the least power, right? What are they gonna do? They're gonna say like, yeah, they're like they're bottom of the food chain, right? Sadly.
I'm looking at my beard.
Well, I was like, are you signaling me, Jordan?
Get rid of this tester. Get rid of it.
What is sad is what I found sad about the industry, at least from the game tester's point of view, is I think the reason they can get people to do those hours and to work for that kind of pay is just, I think they're selling a false dream. Like you're going to be a producer and it's going to pay. Well, most of them are not.
Absolutely not. I totally disagree with that. Because I can tell you right now, there is 1, 2, 3, 4. There's like maybe 6 or 7 of our producers, and that's a bulk amount, like the majority amount that all started off in QA.
No, I'm not saying that they won't promote. I'm just saying, like, just like anything else, the vast majority of those people will never get anywhere near a producer. And so, if they knew that, they wouldn't do all. But they're at the big. At least I would notice the first couple of months, the people would be like, "Oh, this is such a cool job," but then we would watch when it would hit them. We were like, "Okay, it's going to hit them. Okay, this isn't so cool anymore. We're just testing these bad games." Like maybe that's just my experience because I worked at bad games.
Well,
I think that was your experience.
I mean, even if you start working on games, you're not going to work on, your dream game every time. You might.
also
Be working.
everyone has to pay their fucking dues.
Exactly,
man.
exactly.
Like I did not start off as a fucking producer. I had to bite, scratch, kick, and scream to get where I am, and I put in a lot of hours. I took a lot of shit, and I think
Did you start off Did you start off as a game tester too?
No.
No, I started off as an engineer.
That's right. You're talking about the difference.
But
from
before
the movie
that,
side.
I did on-set, production coordinator, an extras wrangler, gopher, like a bitch boy that went and got coffee. Like I've done all of those shit jobs.
You worked with us on our films in high school.
Yeah, exactly. I was the bitch boy.
You're saying that those kind of jobs, by the nature of the title, you get a lot of shit. That's just the nature of that job. No matter where you work, if you're 100%. If you're a bitch, I guess if you're a bitch boy, you should expect that.
I'll tell you this, and I would never put my QA department in a bitch boy category. There's an insane amount of talent. My current QA department, I'm very defensive because I love them and I've seen a lot of talent come out of them. And I will say that it's definitely tough. It's really tough to be in QA because do you get shit? Oh, definitely. People will come into you and be like, why didn't you catch this bug? Why didn't you see this? And then your hours are going to suck and your pay is not going to be as much as other people in the studio. So it's a tough position to be in. But I will say this, every single person that will start in any form of entertainment that starts at a low level position, you're going to catch a ton of shit, but you got to see it through. And you just, that's just the nature of it. Maybe that guy doesn't become a producer at this studio, but the next studio he goes to, maybe he's a QA lead, so he's making a little bit more money. And then maybe that studio promotes him. And if not, maybe the next studio goes to after that, he's an artist. And after that, he's a director. And after that,
it's a good entry point for a lot of people in the industry.
It is. It's just a fantastic entry point. And it gets you exposure, but not everyone is meant to succeed. And that sucks. I would love to say that every single one of them have talent, but are there just some dudes that like playing video games that want a stupid job? Are there a lot of teenagers?
Yeah, that was me. That was me.
You read my mind.
I did that for about 3 years. Although my first year I was into it. When Grant saw the good side of me, but then later the bad side of me that didn't give a shit about video games. Like the last 2 years.
Beginning of this episode. Sorry.
But that's the thing. If you don't give a shit, you're never going to get to where you want to go. If you really want to be a producer and bust your ass, you'll get there.
Yeah, exactly.
I was done at the end of 2002. That was my.
I think it was kind of like it's kind of like when you download No Man's Sky and open it up. You're just like, oh, this is not what I thought it would be. All right, listen. Hey,
listen. One last thing on that. One last thing. All right. I think he may have also overpromised something he couldn't deliver because that shit happens in games all the time.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm asking. I mean, it's like.
But what I'm saying is I think he did that for the fans. I think that it came from a good place. I never believe anyone is doing this shit maliciously. I believe he came at it thinking we're going to get this done.
I mean, but so there's a moment where you have, of course, but I mean, but it's like, you idiot, you idiot, didn't you know that you couldn't do this shit? Why are you saying, kind of thing. I don't know. Of course he means well. We all mean well. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Guys, I just want to play you this trailer. Have you seen the trailer for the new Half-Life, Lou?
I have not.
Do you have any interest in the game at all?
Yeah, I mean, I've played it a little bit. I know it's famously a great game.
Okay, great. So I want to see if you're, you'll be a fan after we play this little ditty here. Here we go. I hope we can hear it. Can you guys hear it?
Let's see. Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
Am I supposed to be turned on when I watch this?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, that's good.
You should feel Randy.
I do feel more. You feel kind of turned on.
I'm here. So what's the plan?
If we can get this weapon, what we're doing here could change things.
There's no straight shot to the vault.
Yeah. It's so awesome, dude.
Find a way out. Got it.
I'm with you every step of the way.
You're gonna need a gun. Don't worry, it's unloaded. It's unloaded now. Combine cheddar's really picking up. They know you're coming. You need to get out of here now.
That's so awesome. Dude, reaching through stuff to pick up bullet. Okay, sorry.
Yep. I'll get it now. You sold me. I'll get the game. I'll try it out.
They're gonna
Was
find
it
out
out
what he
yet?
knows, and then they're
No.
gonna kill him.
I haven't played these kind of games before too much. I should play them more.
I couldn't. I'm so sorry, baby.
You will not save him. Alex Vance alone cannot prevent his fate.
Unreal.
Tournament.
Turkey on top of someone's head.
Yeah, dude.
This might be too violent for me, though.
You're such a pussy. You're such a pussy.
Oh my god, I love you,
I thought you
Valve.
How can I be a pussy? You said I was some goat with giant balls that was like staring at you.
That's what he got from that.
I mean, like I
you
said,
said I had giant balls, Jordan.
You were, you said, oh, no, I'm a nice guy. I'm going back to being a nice guy. You know, you swing back and forth. You got to find the balance. I told you, man. You have to find the middle way, you know. Now, Lou, that's all VR, by the way.
Oh, cool. Yeah, you should. Yeah, that maybe it'll be another episode, a separate VR episode, because as we know, you have a very good VR headset. I tried it one time. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it will work on that same headset. It'll work on the Vive, which is, you know, one of the older ones, but it's still
of course,
fine.
the question, everybody's asking the same question right now. Have you done VR porn?
Absolutely. You have to be careful, man. That stuff.
Is it really that much better than non-VR porn? Like,
it's like
how much percent better is it?
It's like I have a cock ring, but I don't want to use it every time. You know what I mean?
So it's good though. You're giving it a thumbs up. You would recommend VR porn.
I actually kind of wouldn't. It's just only because it's really interesting. You're just like, whoa, you know, like.
But does it work on your thing, or do you have to get a separate thing? Does it work on your actual Vive thing?
Yeah. My Vive is just a display. That's all it is. Yeah, it's just a display.
That's going to be where that's where the industry's moving. You're going to be going on like web chats and like doing VR porn with women that probably who on the other side are controlling the VR woman for you.
Yeah, the problem is there's only one position, you know, usually. But dude, I'm telling you, that level of VR, I'm really thinking VR is kind of like plateaued. This is like bonus part of the episode, everyone. VR is kind of plateaued in my opinion, but it's going to take a company like Valve to really put a game out there in VR that's going to be like, okay, shit, now I see. Because Fallout was good on VR. Like, I enjoyed it on VR, surprisingly.
But it wasn't built for it.
Wasn't built for it, and people talk a lot of shit, but I thought it was great.
Do you ever watch porn and then play Fallout, but then not get hard during the porn, but get hard during the Fallout?
Okay, all right.
That's all I wanted to know.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, like a game like this, I don't know, dude. Like, do you have VR headset? I mean, do you think this is going to make people buy a VR headset?
I don't have one, but I'm intrigued. Are you saying it's like so good that's like you're not as into like regular sex because you could just get it on that VR headset?
Dude,
is it like discouraging you from like hitting on women? Is it that good?
I think that's porn in general, but I think we've covered this, and I think I answered that question as well, Lou. Let's not get on another porn tangent like in the first.
That's what
episode.
I do. It's good.
No.
I'm gonna go on tangents, but you are good at stopping me, and so that's the important thing.
I'm not good at stopping you, by the way.
Do you have
Do you have a headset, Angel?
I do.
You do.
Yeah, I have a good, a nice Oculus.
Well, that's it for Bravely Mistaken.
and so, do you also agree with Jordan that the VR porn is good?
Oh, come on, man. Really, man. But yeah, actually, that's a good question. That's a good question. What do you think, Angel? AAA video game producer?
I haven't tested the waters.
What?
I have not tested the waters.
Because there is AAA porn.
Sure.
Vivid video still exists as far as I know. They're like
do they?
I think so. I don't know. I should be up on that stuff.
I don't think so. I mean, they might, but it doesn't hold a candle to browsers.
God.
Yeah, they're a big one.
Cha-ching.
Fuck yeah, man. All right, hey, fuck it. Are you gonna get a new headset for this game, Angel?
I want to see. Well, I want to see. I think my Oculus it's pretty new.
Oh yeah,
so
it'll work on the
I think
Oculus. It'll work on the Oculus.
Yeah.
What about you, Lou? Would
Yeah.
you buy a headset for this game?
Yeah, maybe. How much is it? The one you have is like $800, isn't it? Something like that.
Not anymore. No, you can
No,
get like
no.
3.
Is there a better
2.
version of even yours, or is yours the top of the line pretty much?
Steam came out with their own. So of course this is kind of their flagship.
And how much is theirs going to cost?
The Index, the Valve Index.
Yeah.
And so you have to have
move
that
your
for
fingers
Half-Life
like
then?
this.
So you have to have their version for Half-Life, I'm assuming then.
Look at this now. No,
How much
no.
is it?
No.
You don't?
No.
Oh, you
It's
don't?
It'll
Okay.
work on mine. It'll work on Angel's.
Oh,
Yeah.
how much does it cost the Valve one? You don't know?
Probably like
It's $1,000.
It's $1,000. Jesus.
Oh, wait a
Man.
minute. Hold on. Valve Index headset with controllers. Here's one for $749.
And
So I
that's
guess
without
they
the
have-
lighthouses.
Huh?
Without the sensors.
Yes. I
'Cause
think the
'cause
one.
The
yeah,
sensors I have will work with the new Valve. The
Yeah,
lighthouses.
this just comes with the remotes and Half-Life Alyx
And the headset.
and a headset.
Oh, how much?
$749.
I might do it.
Look at you.
So
You're pushing headsets. I like it.
Here's one without the controllers. The headset itself, $499 with Alyx.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole
And you
kit
can
with the
use
sensors
I
is
assume you can use
$1,000.
the
You can get a good LeBron jersey like this, like
Jesus.
not authentic, but it's like
With the
good. It's like for
sensors.
$120.
Do you think LeBron likes the VR porn?
I haven't really thought about that. That's too big of a topic for me to take on, and that's a separate show. I don't even want to broach
Take
that.
that one on.
I'll have to think about that one.
Yeah, why
But
don't
I'm
you
saying
put
you
that?
can get-
Why don't you put
you can
that
get
on
this for
Skeleton Crew's sticker?
Yeah.
Bam, bam, Lou.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is. You remember
That's
the
the
title though,
Bam
see?
Bam.
But you remember the full title. It's catchy. This is for $120. This is not authentic. Authentic would be $300, but this
You're gonna
is good
have to
enough
show
for
the
me.
camera a little better than that.
Oh, it's like
Oh, don't encourage.
it's all about LeBron. Like, here's the
Okay.
LeBron.
Okay, everybody. All right, listen, guys. I'm gonna wrap the show up. Angel, thank you so much for showing up. As always, love having you on.
Was I mostly on? Maybe this was
Thank
I
you for
mostly on
having
the.
me,
Oh yeah,
Jordan.
thank you.
Damn
for
it,
coming on.
Lou.
I'm out of control.
Fuck.
I was going to
man.
ask you.
I think you
was
just
gonna-
answered your own question, buddy.
Yeah, I was going to
All right.
ask you if I was off the chain.
Okay,
or
I
too
know
much.
what the fuck you were going to
I'm just
ask
going
me.
to walk away. I'm just going to go.
all right. Well, plug your shit before you walk away. You want to plug anything, man?
No, I got nothing to plug.
Okay.
I'll plug the show.
Okay, great.
I love it. I think it's great.
We'll put your newly created email address on the show notes for everybody, or whatever it is you gave me.
Please
Hey.
feel free to hit me up.
Yeah,
I'll plug something. This is like
All right,
breaking
what do you-
news. It's
What
like
do you got, Lou?
Breaking
What do you
news
got, Lou?
that on my Twitter account, which is at Louie3, LEWIELOUIE 3.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And
How many
that-
followers
that-
you got there?
Right now, I got. What do I see? What do I got? 1,168.
Twitter
That's not bad.
Renaissance for old Lou. Twitter Renaissance. Very well.
Yeah, it turns out if you just go on Twitter every day and send like 100 messages and act like a manic bastard, you get followers. That's how I do it.
Hopefully it'll work for this show too.
Plus, I
All
get
right.
high on I get high on Twitter a lot. And also, the breaking news is that I'm starting a new podcast called "It's All About LeBron,"
No.
inspired by Angel.
No, wasn't it
And
going to be
Angel basically promised to come on the first episode, I think, too.
I did.
Sort
I'm
of.
gonna manage. I'm gonna
Yeah.
be an agent.
Angel, also,
I'm gonna come on.
also, Angel is the manager and is the creative force behind It's All About LeBron. He's like the producer.
Okay, all right, good. You plugged it. Thank you very much, guys.
And
you
don't
guys
forget
have
about
a great time
Skeleton
on
Crew
that show.
Bam Bam, of course.
Skeleton
Go back.
Crew stickers. Bam Bam. Come
That's
on.
right.
Oh,
All right. All right. All right. All right, guys. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Angel, one more time. Thank you.
Thank you, Angel.
All right. And as for me, guys, this is Jordan O'Leary. Thank you very much for listening. If you want to give me some ideas for the show, please do. Are there any super interesting people in any profession, hobby, culture, vice, anything like this
Can
that
I-
you can suggest to me? Lou,
raise
no,
my
no,
hand?
sorry, buddy. No, we're done. We're done.
But
And
I just wanted to apologize for being off the chain too much in this episode.
You're doing it again, buddy. So, apologize again.
Okay, I apologize for interrupting him to talk about how I wanted to apologize for being off the chain.
Okay, thank you. Enjoy that. That's your one. All right. Again, this is Jordan O'Leary. Thank you very much. You know what to do if you want to support the show. It's been a long road, baby, to get where we've gotten today. But never be afraid to make a brave mistake. And as always, don't you ever forget, I like your moves.